I've spent the last about 13 years in public accounting, and as I've moved through the ranks and progressed through firms that I worked for 3 firms during my public accounting career. And as I progressed, I eventually got to a point where I was overseeing and supervising multiple engagements at one time, which included anywhere from 3 to 6 staff members, and also I participated in the supervision and in the performance evaluations of these staff members, and really helping them move through the organization and really help them understand where their place is and how they're moving up and really where they want to be on on their growth plan. So I've still kind of gone through the snags and how to revamp performance evaluation and monitoring so that it is effective for both management and for the employees, so everybody feels like they're a cohesive part of the team. So let's see. So why is it important? Why is it important to monitor employee performance? Why is this necessary? Why even do it? And this may seem like a silly question, but as an auditor and going in as a third-party auditor to a lot of these multi-million-dollar corporations, there are a lot of companies out there who are not doing regular performance evaluations. They're not giving any feedback to their employees, and it's apparent when you speak to the employees. They feel very aimless. They're aimless. They don't feel secure about their job. They're not getting any sort of feedback and on their strengths, weaknesses, where they should be, any goals, any sort of path that they should be on for the next year, for the next 3 years. Where do they fit in with the company? And if they're not getting that, as an auditor, we go in and we look for specific red flags that may present an opportunity for fraud. And with the current economic environment, if there is somebody out there who can rationalize maybe committing fraud within the company, one of the ways that they can rationalize that is maybe not getting a raise for 3 or 4 years, or getting no feedback from supervisors or from management. It all depends. We can come in and kind of see that if there are people out there who maybe they have personal economic difficulties, and that coupled with not feeling like they are a part of the organization, or feeling like they're expendable, or feeling like they're being cheated somehow because they're not getting that feedback or any sort of any sort of evaluation or an appraisal by their supervisors. I mean, it could present an opportunity for somebody to justify, well, if I'm not going, nobody's going to give this to me, so I'm just going to start taking things, to try and pay my bills or feed my family or make my own way here. So as an auditor, we would go in and definitely look at that area, and if the management was not offering regular, at least annual performance evaluations, there would definitely be a recommendation that we would include on their annual management letter at the conclusion of the audit. So so why do it? Well, it provides a clear understanding between management and the employee on where that employee fits in the organization. What is the growth plan of that employee, and how does that fit in with the plan of the overall organization? Are they an important piece of the success of that company, or are they just a cog in the wheel of the day-to-day activity? People want to feel like they want to have a clear understanding of where they fit in, where they belong. This goes back to Stacy's to her presentation. It's an inherent need for everybody to feel like they really are part of something bigger than just coming in and punching in a clock and doing their day-to-day job. So, and this really gives management a good idea to make sure that they have the proper mix of employees in the organization. Do they have the right people doing the right jobs? Is it a good fit? Somebody is really good at, if they have a person who's not the best communicator or isn't communicating the product effectively, should they really be in sales? Should they really be out there trying to drum up new customers? Or maybe they need a little bit more training in that area. And this is a good way for management to figure out what they need to maybe beef up and do some training.
Whenever you're ready to move on, if you don't mind.
Okay, thanks, Amy. So, and thirdly, depending on the laws of your state, this provides a legal documentation of your employees' performance. If depending on the laws of your state, if you decide to let somebody go and there's nothing to document why you decided to do that, you could be opening yourself up for a wrongful termination lawsuit. So, Arizona is not really, we're more of a right to work state, but depending on the state, you want to have a legal documentation of why you decided to give so and so a raise and another person, maybe not as much of a raise, or just, why you decided to let somebody go.
It looks performance monitoring is a good idea. Really, there are several important reasons why it needs to occur. When is a good way? When is a good time to evaluate it? When should you take a look at your process, or when should you even start this process if you've never done it before? Unfortunately, many businesses are experiencing a major slowdown with the current recession. And depending on who you talk to and what your industry is, things may start to pick up as soon as next year. Some people are saying 2012. Some people are saying maybe next fall. And like I said, depending on your business, it could happen as soon as as soon as 6 months from now. So, but right now is actually, if you are experiencing that slowdown, there could be this could be the perfect time to actually just, you've got the time now. Take a look at your workforce, take a look at your staff, and make sure that you have the right people in place. And this is, by reviewing and evaluating their strengths and weaknesses, you can determine that, well, maybe certain people need. That maybe certain people may need some additional training, or may need to be moved around within the organization. Maybe there are some strengths that management didn't even realize they had, that they need to really take advantage of. And then once once you have the right people in place, then when the phone starts ringing again and when the economy picks up, because it will, I mean, eventually it will, you can hit the ground running and really get that competitive edge with your customers. There are three major components of effective performance monitoring, and these are pretty chronological when they should happen. First is, I think, which is the most important and probably the most time consuming component, is setting some clear and effective goals with each employee, and actually letting them. And it's going to include a lot of feedback from that particular employee. But once they have a plan and once they have specific documented goals, then that'll set the framework for their evaluation and for their path within the organization. And then once the goals are set, timely and relevant feedback is key. Once we get to that area, I can talk about what we encountered when I was with my last firm, as far as not giving timely and relevant feedback, and what we did to help with that solution, would help with that problem. And then once you have the goals, and then you're getting timely and relevant feedback, the comprehensive formal evaluation is really, it's mainly just a compilation of everything you've done and all that time you put in on the front end. Because actually presenting the evaluation is really just kind of a formality. There should be no surprises once you get to that point. And I think and you hear this a lot, is that evaluations should cover both the technical skills, which are kind of a given. I mean, everybody, if they're working for your organization, they should really have the required technical skills in order to prosper and to really succeed in the organization. But there are a lot of soft skills that it really, if you could have all the technical skills in the world, but if you don't have a little bit of training on some soft skills, it may not be as effective as far as working within the organization and with your customers. And some examples of soft skills, and these are, there are various articles and various continuing education classes on how to maybe enhance and tune up some of these soft skills. But communication skills it's probably one of the most, one of the most important soft skill you could have. And I know, as an accountant, we definitely have a stereotype that we're very, we're not very social, and we're not very good with people, and we're very technically, we like to sit at our desk and crunch numbers, and I understand that's a stereotype, but You can be as technically proficient as you can. You can be an expert in your field, but if you can't communicate those ideas and translate a lot of